Hi, it's Romy here. Thanks so much for tuning into my channel. Welcome if you're new. And if you're returning, I so appreciate you. This is the January reading for the sign of Aries. So if you're an Aries sun, rising or moon, this is a general reading, but it may resonate for you. If you enjoy it, you can go ahead and support my work by purchasing the extended reading, which is in the description box below. Let's go ahead and see what's coming out for you in January. Hi Aries, this is January 2020. Let's go ahead and see what's coming out. Okay, we begin your reading with Queen of Pentacles, nice earth energy. I really like this for you actually, Aries, because I have a feeling that the overall theme of this month is just one of getting on and starting the implementation of so much of what you've been processing through the year of 2019. You're almost somewhat restless to just begin making those changes and adjustments in your life. And I feel that this really supportive, grounded energy, this desire to just apply yourself and prioritize or reprioritize is going to be really beneficial as we move through a whole heap of really interesting astrological alignments in January, which are set to bring in these real seismic shifts in the energy landscape. But I feel with the support of the guidance of Queen of Pentacles for you, Aries, you are less likely to get derailed on an emotional level. If you have the firm understanding of here's where I can bring myself back into balance, here's where I can realign with what matters, here's what I've set myself. And remember, we're looking now at the long term, right? You still have so much of this 10th house activation taking place because of Saturn and Pluto, and we're coming up to that conjunction on the 12th. So it is about what you're working towards, not necessarily to achieve today or tomorrow or even this month. This is about you starting to implement and put the foundations down for your future. 2020 is a year number 4 numerology wise, so it's all about the investment. It's the investment of your time, energy and resources. On the 3rd of this month, Aries, we have Mars moving into the sign of Sagittarius. Mars being your ruling planet. And in Sagittarius, a fellow fire sign, it activates your 9th house. So it's this lovely boost that comes in to give you a little bit of mojo, to help you consider what that worldview is and perhaps where you want to set your store out for more learning, where you want to up-level yourself or spend more of that time and energy. So Page of Wands coming in, a lovely fire energy. If this is representative of you, again, I just feel you're starting the month strong and really making some key decisions and reaching out to communicate to those people around you that need to be involved. And I think you're making that decision, Aries, about who matters, who to align with, who to collaborate with. Remember, as we move through January and come into Aquarius, it is activating your 11th house. So it's all about the community, how you connect with your community, that group, that teamwork, those social connections and friendships. So I feel like your head's coming up from the parapet, you're looking around and you're making an assessment of where do I want to be, who do I want to surround myself with. I think if you have an earth sign who's been on your mind or very involved in recent weeks, then the communication lines of communication seem open. So perhaps for those of you that have had more challenges or difficulties around that area over the course of December with some of those more emotional energies, I feel like I've got a kind of getting back on track with something. Okay, another page energy coming through. So lots of news, messages, activities happening early on in the month for you. We have the full moon in Cancer, which is a lunar eclipse happening on the 10th. This is activating your 4th house. So again, it's hitting into those areas of home and family, but it also asks, where do you feel secure on the inside? Like, what makes you feel safe, Aries? And I feel that whilst you're in that kind of slightly reflective mode, it's not stopping you getting on and doing things and reaching out and almost like preparing the ground, right? Page of Pentacles coming in though, also talking to me about some sort of offer being presented to you. But I feel it's as a result of something that you've instigated. Okay, you've maybe already put the wheels in motion with something. You've maybe already started a conversation, or you've considered a collaboration, or you're thinking about a new course or some sort of learning that you want to take on. I also feel that we've got money coming forward to you, and I think that this is showing up to me as a result of efforts that have been invested, right? So that Queen of Pentacles energy is affording you the energy and the focus to take on whatever's coming your way. I've got a really strong sense of yes that comes across these first few cards for you, Aries. So I want you to look at January as being one of these months where you're really curious about what's showing up. I mean, there's obviously been a lot of interesting dialogue that's surfacing around this Saturn-Pluto conjunction. But for you, activating your 10th house, which is really about reputationally what's going on for you, and also those long-term ambitions, we're seeing you making decisions about how you want to be seen, how you want to show up, what matters to you. And I think that there's some really wonderful opportunities to seize those moments of being introduced to the right person at the right time, or seeing a gap in the market, or being able to up-level in key relationships in your life. And even from a personal perspective, for those of you that are focused in and around love and relationships, we have the card of the Lovers coming through here. It could be a Gemini energy that you're dealing with, but even if this is specific to what's happening within your relationship, I feel like, again, it's a time of you being prepared to implement some of the understanding and the wisdom that you've gained in the last few weeks about what needs to change, right? Lots of communication, lots of openness and honesty coming through. I think that lovely earth energy is also giving you the right framework to have that dialogue that's going to help bring you together, or bring a sense of unity about what that vision looks like for you both moving forward, right? I think if you are an Aries who is looking for love, looking to bring that key relationship in, then again, we've got really supportive energies about you just getting out there and actually creating the energy and making it happen, not just sitting in and sitting back and waiting. This is an understanding that, yes, you have to align yourself energetically, but there's also time for that inspired action. I feel a lot of dynamic movement happening for you in that particular area, and the opportunity for somebody to come through, another page, and really strike up some interesting conversations, some interesting connections. We have on the 13th of this month, Venus moving into the sign of Pisces, which activates your 12th house and really helps you to come closer into your spiritual self, Aries. And I think that this is important because whilst we're getting a lot of focus with the activation of Saturn and Pluto about how other people see you, what your reputation is in terms of what you do or how you come across, we then have the need to ensure that you're fully aligned and connected into your higher self, so that yes, you can listen and take on board what might be coming up around those energies, right? People might have a certain perception of you that you may or may not agree with, right? And adjustments that you might consider taking. But that Venus and Pisces energy for me is really helping you to make sure that any choices that you're making are really aligning with your true self. And it also means for me that where we are engaging in key relationships, that you're feeling a little bit more open to a soulful connection, right? Something that really lights you up, something that feels curious to you. That Page of Swords energy coming in for me and saying that I'm going to take my time just to get to know this person, or maybe to get to know them again after some time. We've all changed and evolved so much through this last 12-month period in 2019, and you've perhaps made some personal decisions about what you want to release and let go of. And so in this first month of the year, this is the opportunity to kind of test that out a little bit with those connections and relationships in your life, whether they be new or existing, Aries. It's like, okay, do I really want to bring old energy to the table? Or how is this new version of me now showing up? What is the imprint I want to leave? What's the legacy? Because that's very 10th house as well, right? What's the long-lasting legacy that I have in mind in terms of the type of person I am? So we have on the 11th Uranus ending its retrograde in the sign of Taurus, which has been ongoing since August 11th, and it's hit your second house of worth, but also finances. So I really like that as this planet moves direct, we are able to leave behind any kind of challenge or difficulty that we've had, particularly around finances and money, particularly where we felt that things fell short of our expectations, or perhaps we came up against challenge after challenge while we were trying to get something moving, get something going. Perhaps in your work or career you missed out on a big project or a big bid or a promotion, or in your own business things didn't quite come together in the way that you had hoped or expected during that cycle. So now we have this adjustment, and it's almost like the universe saying, okay, let's just start fresh, let's start again without carrying the baggage. This is really important, right? None of these energies that have come up so far, Aries, are saying let's revisit and go back and sit and reflect in that space of whatever led us to feel isolated or let down or disappointed, or that feeling of lack or unworthiness. You know, perhaps you were dealing with that energy of saying, I'm not really sure I deserve this relationship, or I deserve this success that I want so much for myself. And you know, that can be so subconscious, right? It's not always really apparent to us until we kind of come out of the other side of an energy cycle and we realize that perhaps our thought forms and our narrative to ourselves wasn't that supportive of actually the dream and the desire that we said we wanted. So I feel that this is really highlighting that adjustment that's taking place as Uranus moves into Taurus direct, and helping you to overcome any of the limitations that you have around this particular area of your life. And honestly, with all of these page energies coming through, there is this sense of like, be at peace with the fact that right now you may not know everything you need to, right? You may not be the expert in the field that you're in. You may not have all the information. You may not yet have met the person you need to. The relationship you're in might not be at the level that you want it to be right yet, but we're moving towards this. You know, all of these pages are bringing in the enthusiasm. They're bringing in a sense of exuberance, of curiosity, of openness. And I think that's what I really love about this reading so far for you this month, Aries, is that in spite of any challenges, in spite of the landscape that we're moving through in this very interesting first month of the year, you're showing up to me as being prepared to get on and do the work, to take on board what's being presented to you, and to remain open and really learn from that to better yourself and advance yourself. I think that's really wonderful. So on the 16th, Mercury moves into the sign of Aquarius, and activating your 11th house. If you are involved with anything regarding online technology, if you are working with other people or thinking about collaborating or teaming up, this is a fantastic energy to really instigate something new. And perhaps we need to make some adjustments so that it works for you. Okay, intuitively there's a note that's coming through for me on this that says, make sure before you jump into anything, okay, because we do have a lot of that youthful exuberance with the pages, that you have done your checks and balances, right, so that it's going to work for you on multiple levels. And this is both professionally and personally, right, Aries, because I feel that we're now at a time where we're trying to get a better balance in our world. We're trying to get a better work-life balance. We're trying to get a better balance of the amount of time we give ourselves, we give our family, we give the key relationships in our life, and towards the things that really matter to us, those passions, those projects, those interests. So Temperance comes in as this opportunity to recalibrate all of the energy. It's like there's this big kind of mixing pot, and you're able to say, okay, I need to alter this to make it work more effectively for me. And I think that this is important, and that you also communicate this to other people so that you don't end up back in that energy of I don't know, misunderstanding, misrepresentation, feeling like you weren't quite understood, or that you've ended up back in the same place or with a similar kind of energy. So I think Temperance is coming in with a really beautiful healing quality, but also that reminder to just take your time. There's a patience and there's a divine timing that comes in so strongly with Temperance. If you are dealing possibly with a Sagittarius energy as well, especially in a key relationship, whether that be from a business perspective or a personal perspective, again, with that Mars moving into the sign of Sagittarius, I think there's the opportunity to revisit, come back to the table with something and have a more positive, fruitful discussion moving forward, right? But I think what your guides are asking of you is to just be really open and upfront and honest, okay? That's what's required to make sure that there's no dubiety, that there's no confusion. And I think, you know, inevitably all of us will get triggered through this mid part of January with the conjunctions that take place and that lunar eclipse, right, which like to bring through those powerful revelations. And so perhaps there will be things you don't want to hear. Perhaps there will be views that are expressed to you that are opposing how you see the future or what you expected. But again, the note that's coming through from the guides is be tolerant with this, be understanding that everyone's being pushed and triggered, and that some of what you might be receiving could be projection and some of it may be truth to work with. And again, I think these page energies are going to help you to push out any sense of you know, like turning your back on it and not wanting to deal with it, okay? I feel like the more that we can just face it head on, and really, you know, I love that Queen of Pentacles energy coming in for that for you. I just think you're going to get on and deal with whatever you need to make the changes to better yourself. I think this is a really strong month of you wanting to further your own spiritual journey. Beautiful. Ace of Pentacles energy coming in. So what you are starting this month, the ideas that you have, the inspiration that you have, is getting such a boost of energy and vitality and a lot of luck, actually, right? We have Jupiter moving through Capricorn now, this nice earthy sign linking into the Pentacles energy here. And we're in this number 4 year. It's all about building, investing. So this month you're getting really clear about where you want to invest. And I think that you're making really sound decisions based on that, Aries. The relationships that you want to bring in are going to be healthier. The decisions you choose about what projects to work on or you know, what area of business you want to go after is looking really favorable. It's like when you take the time to be open and understand the landscape. And there's something as well about kind of like reading the energy, I feel. So particularly for those that are focused in and around work aspect of things, I'm like, look around and see where the collective energy is moving towards, because I think there's some really interesting illuminations that are coming forward that are going to help you to plug a gap or see something that perhaps other signs aren't immediately able to jump on and kind of work with, right? You've got a very dynamic moving energy, very supportive, fiery start to this year, where I think some of the other signs are perhaps moving at a slightly slower pace as they kind of absorb and come into the new energy. But you are that instigator, you are the first sign of the zodiac, so you're very used to kind of moving off the blocks a little bit quicker than other people. And what I'm seeing with this reading is that you are seizing opportunities, and that if we look at what your bigger vision is for the year ahead, going back to the start of this reading, the answer is a yes. It's just make sure you're allowing yourself. Remember, Lovers connects into those systems, that structure, the kind of rituals that we need to give us the support and the framework with which to deliver something. So it's not about being unrealistic, because Jupiter in Capricorn likes to be realistic, okay, with that expansion and growth. But it is about recognizing, how do I support myself? What are the conditions I need in my environment to make this work? And I think that that's favorable for both personal relationships, what works in your family and home and your work life, and even with regards to your health, because I also see you making changes and moderations with regards to health and wellness that again are really bringing about a shift for you. beautiful cards who finish your reading here with 9 of Cups. So talking to me about that sense of emotional satisfaction that I feel you're going to have when you get to the end of this month. I honestly think, Aries, that in spite of some of the challenging terrain that inevitably we will all be traversing through this month, so make no mistakes around that, I am wholly optimistic that you're going to feel like you did the best that you could in the environment that you are in, with what you know. And there is this absolute understanding of like starting to implement what you've learned and then realizing it's working and it's changing, and there being this kind of real sense of satisfaction that comes in around that. I think for those of you that are embarking on new relationships or trying to advance relationships, there is this sense of friendship that's developing that again is bringing a lot of like happiness through, which I really like for you. And I want to say that, you know, we're really moving away from this 5 of Pentacles energy that's perhaps had you in a place of feeling lack or feeling like there was something not quite working in your life. So even if January doesn't provide you with the full manifestation of everything that you hoped for, it's almost like you are able to, through that card of Temperance, find a balance that says, I'm good with this because right now my priority is X. And so I'm prepared to put all of my focus, time and energy into making this work for me. And then I'm going to get to that other area of my life when I feel a little bit more secure and confident and the energy starts to shift and change. So I think you feel quite at ease with the fact that maybe not everything is fully working all at once, because there's a divine timing that is applicable to that and you're all right with it. But you've certainly got boundless energy, motivation and enthusiasm showing in this reading, which I think is wonderful as we move through what can be quite a difficult month of the year for many people anyway. Okay, lovely. Taking risks is coming through as your oracle card for today. A lot of beautiful sort of fire colours coming up with this, and I don't know, I just link immediately to Sedona when I see this kind of landscape as well. So I think they are reminding me of this spiritual need to align with your authentic truth, to have that sense of energetic integrity to the decisions and choices that you're making and to who you're engaging with, right? I think that beautiful bird energy coming through is talking about seeing the bigger picture. Remember all of this 10th house, looking at that longer term view with things, right? And understand as well, I mean, when we're looking at it from a place of relationships, right? All of these pages are suggesting that, okay, you've maybe not found your king or queen just yet, or maybe they're not really showing up in a way that you feel you can count on them yet. But what I want to say is that they're also like, everyone's is work in motion at the moment, right? We're in this state of evolution and becoming and kind of figuring out what the energy of this new year feels like. And so the element of taking a risk is saying, do you know what, I'm just gonna see where this goes. I'm gonna be open and I'm gonna be curious and I'm just gonna give it a chance. And it might come to nothing, and if it does, I'm okay with that, because at least I've been able to discern and figure out a little bit more about what I do want and what is working for me, or where I want to redirect my energy right now, because actually I've realized I don't really have the time or space to engage in that in my life. So taking risks for me is a beautiful reminder of just saying yes and exploring what shows up and what comes up, and not being resistant or taking offense to anything that's showing where there are areas of improvement, where you can better yourself. We're always the student in any moment. You know, we talked in previous readings for you, Aries, about this quality of self-mastery, and this is me seeing in your reading you starting to really now put the implementation of that wisdom into motion, and you're starting to see the fruits of that because you are in this super manifesting, attracting energy, right? We're linking into that beautiful full moon where there's that revelatory aspect of, okay, this is how it works. This is what I needed to understand about myself, about the way I've shown up, about the last decade and what I've been through and how it's equipped me. So no judgment on anything that has gone before up to this point. I'm ready to let go of any expectations or anything that hasn't turned out the way I fully expected it to. but I'm also going to be super open and ready to reach out, to engage, to connect and collaborate and draw into my world people that are really going to help me become a better version of myself, help me to find love in a deeper, more intimate way, help me to strengthen my relationship with my children and my family, help me to advance in my career. You know, this is when we move into that Aquarian energy on the 24th with that new moon. Wonderful time to launch any projects, by the way, Aries. So if you're doing anything specific business-wise, particularly online, that's a fantastic time of the year for you to really be supported, particularly with what we're seeing coming up here. You will be incredibly happy about what comes out of that in the longer term, right? It's not instant manifestation, but we've moved past that. Okay, sometimes things come in all at once, but you're also of the understanding that, you know, it's those daily steps and it's the measured progress that you start to see this bigger picture emerging. Aries, I hope this has given you some insight for January. If you'd like to join me for the extended reading, I'm going to go ahead and pull some clarifying cards. We talk for about another 20 minutes or so, and it's a way for you to support my channel and the work that I do. So let's go ahead and see what comes up. So Queen of Pentacles is bringing out King of Pentacles. Nice. Okay, we also have Justice card coming in here, and Ace of Cups also just fell out there, so could be a Libra energy there in the mix as well, or perhaps there is a specific earth sign that romantically is on your mind at the moment. Okay, Page of Wands is bringing up Four of Wands and the Page of Wands again. So much fire in this reading for you, Aries. I really like this. There's definitely more balance and harmony coming in for you. Okay, Three of Cups coming through with that Page of Pentacles, and I really like the link into community that's happening with this, friendships, you kind of stepping out, being prepared to reconnect perhaps with people or seek out new soul families. Ten of Wands is coming through with the Lovers, and I do think this is about you making adjustments in your world from a kind of structure, systems, what's working for you, how do I make my family life work at the same time as put time, energy and passion into a relationship or into work, you know, so I'm not burdened, I'm not taking on too much. I feel like it's also the end of a cycle that you've come to, and moving away of that, you know, perhaps there has been some emotional distance with somebody specific over the last few weeks that I feel like we are coming to terms with, coming to a place of acceptance through the month of January. We'll explore that a little bit more. Could be a Scorpio energy that we're dealing with, but I also see this as transformation around particularly this financial area of your life, Aries. Okay, Temperance bringing through the Ten of Cups. Some beautiful energies this month, Aries. Okay, Hierophant coming in with Ace of Pentacles, so linked into the sign of Taurus. Remember we talked about that Uranus and Taurus moving direct in your money sign. And the Magician, wonderful card linking into attraction here. You're on fire this month, Aries. Knight of Wands. Okay, taking risk, Six of Wands. What will it lead to? Success, recognition, stepping out. Ten of Swords with attraction, coming to the end of a cycle and really letting go. You know, there's a very healing quality, I think, with Venus moving into Pisces in that 12th house for you. And obviously once we're out of Aquarius, we're going to be moving into that 12th house activity for you. So it's kind of on the horizon over the coming weeks. All right, Aries, if you'd like to join me for the extended, I'm going to pull out some more messages specific to what might be happening with some of these other signs that are showing up, and perhaps where we need to be taking these bold risks for you. But thank you so much for joining me, supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. Take good care and have a wonderful month ahead. Bye for now.